currently.
Checking out match number 3, it's a Latin American battle, specifically those in South America, PNC versus Race. Well, you do see 2 Team Genji members, 2 members from Latin America, South America. 2 players bring in the same lineup, at least on paper. However, the bans are differing. The Protects are starting to consolidate significantly. Everyone protecting the Priest.
Yep.
It feels like today in Americas. Quest Druid banned away from PNC. Race has his Warrior banned away. And that leaves us with Warrior, Priest, and Shaman up against Druid, Priest, and Shaman. And he takes here, TJ. What's the difference maker? Is it the Druid and the Warrior, or is it perhaps something in the decks?
I don't think that Warrior is super well positioned. I really respect Warrior, but I think that its matchup spreads aren't as good as they were in previous weeks. I feel like Control Warrior has not changed, and other decks have changed for the better against Control Warrior. So I think in that regard, I'd favor Race since PNC banned away his Warrior, but it's so similar across the board with how their lineups match up. And as we heard from Muzzy, there's so many different variations of things, and it's all about not being predictable. It's all about, you know, not making sure your opponent can get a read on your lineup and your pick ban strategy, because there's 2 layers now. So we'll see how the actual matchup's going to play out, because they don't actually have to play the decks that have already been banned. But taking a look at PNC, Kama Priest. In Europe, a lot of players were protecting it and queuing in Game 1. Now in Americas, a lot of players are protecting it, queuing in Game 1. And all the lists are almost card for card the same. In the last game, the Priest Mirror for Game 1, 30 cards for 30 cards. In this game, is it a Priest Mirror for Game 1? If it is, they're 30 cards for 30 cards the same. So kind of interesting. And we've also heard players say multiple times today that if it comes down to a Priest Mirror in Game 1, it's all about who wins that, because then you get to dictate the queues for rest. But Ray's going to switch it up and go with Druid for the first game here.
Druid versus the Priest. You know, Priest getting that early game board while Druid passes tends to be pretty good for the Priest, especially with a hand like that. Northshire Cleric, Never Set, Ritualist, and Light Warden. The Holy Triumphant, if you will.
Yep.
Actually, well, Injured Tolavir. Kind of mix that in, and then you have the Fantastic Four.
And then Injured Blade Master. And you have the Fab 5.
The Fab 5. And then you add in Psychopomp, the Sexy 6.
Then what's 7?
Super Sexy 7.
What's 8?
The Crazy 8.
I like the
Eight's
Super Sexy 7 better.
Yeah, that's why we stop at 7.
Yeah, I think 8's too much. 8's an overload.
It's the Crazy 8.
The Fine 9s.
The Fine 9s. There was like this thing back in high school, because I graduated high school in 08.
Same.
We're around the same age. And then people would always like create these chants for the year. They would say something like, the boys are cool and the girls are great. We're the class of 2008. And then people would go like, the boys are sweet and the girls are fine. We're the class of 2009. And it'd just be like this really cheesy, campy chant that we toss back and forth.
Dan, that is cringe.
Yes.
To use a modern term.
Things in high school tend to be cringe.
They were.
But yet most of our market-targeted advertising tends to be towards that demographic.
Yeah.
It's very impressionable.
My high school wasn't cringe. We didn't have any of that. We just wore shirts that said 08. I guess in a sense,
cringe.
I guess in a sense, just wearing a shirt that tells you what year you're graduating from high school in itself is pretty cringe. But
yeah, so cringe. Haha, cringe.
Behold,
well,
jewels of the
this
south.
is not looking good. For our good
Plays the
friend
cringy merchant.
PNC gonna maybe go for a double trade Circle of Healing, or even potentially a Never Set Cringualist.
Oh boy, is it that kind of cast?
Dan.
Let's just nip it in
It's
the bud.
always that kind of cast.
Oh, let's just nip in the bud while we're here. But yes, the Nephroset Ritualist does look pretty effective in this spot. I wonder if there's a way you can kind of finesse it. Like you attack with the Northshire Cleric, heal first, then the Light Warden trades in, then you Ritualist. I think I like that. Does Race play a copy of Bees? He does not. He has Mind Control Tech at his 3 mana 1-of slot. We do see some players choose that option if they're worried about boards that go wide. We do see Bees at times. Maybe even see more greed at the top. I like some kind of heal here. Could be Northshire Cleric, could be Ritualist. I do also like this trade.
Hey, I got you, friend.
PNC protecting against swipe in every direction. Race is in trouble.
Yeah. This is pretty big because PNC able to keep drawing these cards, and eventually he's going to hit the big combo, and that's when it gets scary.
That's hard to pass up.
Oh, yeah.
Light Warden.
Injured Blade Master, Circle of Healing, and you
Push.
kill him. That does play into Mind Control Tech.
Does play into Mind Control Tech, but does it even matter at that point? You're not committing to Topsy-Turvy or anything, so you just kind of Topsy-Turvy after they play MC Tech, and then you win.
Yeah. And he's got 2 big targets that he can combo here. One is the Light Warden, which can be comboed with heal. One is the Injured Blade Master, which can be comboed with those health flips.
This is ridiculous!
Yeah.
No matter what Race steals here, he doesn't have a taunt in the way. And PNC has double Divine Spirit and Topsy-Turvy. Just want to point that out. So if he steals the highest health minion...
So the Injured Blade Master, then he still takes 29,
Yeah, too much damage.
30.
Now, what if he Oasis Surgers... Nope, can't do that either.
Yeah, hasn't completed the quest.
Yeah. Yeah. Finishes the quest. Congrats. Double Divine Spirit, Topsy-Turvy. This is something that's been commented about a lot on the internet, even by the devs themselves. I saw Mike Donay posting about reevaluating things in the future, but for now you get to see why Priest is so threatening, because its nut draw is so hard to stop. But more specifically, this is why you gotta do stuff. I mean, Druid passes the early game a lot.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, that's one of the reasons why Priest is becoming so popular. If there's a deck, or even 2 decks if you consider Quest Shaman, that's effectively going to either pass their first 4 turns or play 1/1s their first 4 turns, you play something that can kill them on turn 5 if nothing's being interacted with.
And that's why, TJ, yesterday night, non-stop Hunters. I just kept playing against Hunter, and I was playing Hunter myself because I was practicing Frozen's deck. And I played against 5 Priests, TJ. All 5 started with Northshire Cleric on 1. A couple of them started with Northshire Cleric into the Tol'Vir and Perfect Draw. And I still crushed it with Hunter because I just had the 3 secrets. I had Freezing Trap, Pressure Plate, and like Deadly Shot ready to go with the bow. It's like they couldn't do anything. It was glorious. Priest is not infallible, but based off the way everyone's built their lineup, it looks like it is. And with that, PNC's up to a 1-0 lead. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll find out if our Season 1 champion can keep up that momentum.
Shadows are rising again, darker than they've ever been. As evil descends from the skies, the world cries out, how will we survive? Out of the hall of explorers, and up from the dusty tombs, they grab their whips and fedoras. These legends of the past know exactly what to do. There might be magic monsters, mummies in the markets, and ancient mysticism. There's surely scorching deserts
My name is Francisco Fraile Montas. One of my best friends came out with my nickname. We are all getting like nicknames with 3 letters for some reason, like 13 years old. My name is Francisco, and Francisco's are called Pancho. So it's just like 3 letters from that, P and C. One interesting thing about me that most people don't know is that I used to study ancient history. I quit for Hearthstone in a couple of years, but plan on going back at one point. My favorite Hearthstone for moment was when I topped like Lethal 2016 Copa America Finals. That was like my first big win, and I was very, very happy. It's like finally all that I worked for coming true. Being Grandmasters for me means that all the hard work that I put in last years and all the time that I spent the game is paying off. My favorite thing about Grandmasters would be that I get a chance to prove myself like on the big stage. What makes me unique as a player, I would say, is just bringing very complicated decks to tournament, like mostly combo decks that people usually don't play. My personal goals this year will be to earn as much money as I can, of course, and yes, improve as a player and play the best I can.
My name is Lucas Guerra Romano. When I was like 11 or 12, I don't know if I saw like the word raise, like people using poker, raise your bet or something, and oh, this word is kind of nice, and then I cut the letter I, and then I use it just raise. That's how I created my nick, and I'm using it since I was like 11 years old or something. So last year was pretty huge for me. I have had a lot of great achievements, finished like top 18 points on NA. Being here, being a Grandmaster, like people will recognize me as a Grandmaster, and that's pretty cool. I'm always looking for a win, but being here together with the best players in the world, I will try to push myself a lot. It's pretty easy to win a game that you are favored, that you drew well, but you need to win bad matchups, games that you have a small percentage to win. Like, you need to evaluate when you need to risk something or when you just need to play pretty safe. This is what I try to do, and I think I do well sometimes. I'm here to win. I will try my best for it.
Hearthstone Grandmasters continues, PNC versus Race. Some fast ones. We have Priest getting the wins. But to be fair, I do think Priest is getting some good matchups. I think they're beating the classes they're supposed to beat. Although the one caveat to it is the Priest beating the Warrior. But I do feel like to a certain extent, there's a lot of improvements to be made, both in terms of these small technical game-ending plays, because there were some mistakes made by Muzzy and Sam, but also in the deck list. I'm not really sold on Warrior list currently. I'm not even really sold on Druid list, to be honest. I don't know necessarily it's like the fault of Race's Druid deck list. I'm just saying that I feel like Druid's playing super greed. And I was talking to Firebat about this on Omnistone. Druids, why do they feel the need to have King Favors, Cenarius, and Chef Nomi, and some even include Elise with Floop? That seems like mega overkill. Like, you don't need that much Omega damage to close the game, you know?
Well, it does help you against Warrior.
Yes,
and
specifically
sometimes
Warrior.
In the mirror matchup if you're trading board over and over again.
Right,
but
it's like
every other matchup, it's sometimes a liability.
It feels like a lot of times you're stuck with cards in your hand that are just too expensive. I want to see Druids get a little more lean and, start that intermittent fasting, trim down, only greens and protein. I want them to lean down a little bit, TJ. They're getting a little bit too thick around the waist, if you ask me.
So what, bees?
I don't know.
Put a little bees in their diet? A little honey?
Yeah. Smack a little honey in there, maybe.
Maybe some crystal power?
There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. All I'm saying, I liked where Firebat's head was at. He put an Acorn Bearer because Acorn Bearer allowed him to contest board early. Mm-hmm. It also allowed him to have late game flexibility with like playing a bunch of small things in Cenarius. or even just double power the wild. I like where Firebat's head was at because he was at least exploring different possibilities. The only problem, Firebat queued into the Druid Mirror and got busted by Feoris. So, you know, it's kind of like one of those situations where maybe because everyone was protecting Druid in the past, you couldn't really get away with it. But now that the meta is shifting where people are protecting Priest, it's different. Last week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21 times Drew was protected.
Wow.
At least. I did a very quick count. I may have missed a couple. That's a lot. Versus Priest was protected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, TJ. 3 times more likely to protect Druid. Totally understand if you're teching for the Druid Mirror.
Yeah.
Now people are against Priest. They think Priest is the deck. I think you got to adapt. But we're neither here nor there. We're now up against Shaman with this Druid deck.
Yeah, and PNC has one of the best arts you can on the coin, and that's Coin Evil Totem. Because that allows you to go into Quest Lackey, which gets the train rolling. Druid does not have an answer to the Evil Totem on turn 2 outside of Wrath, which delays their quest completion, which, you know, you still get the 1 Lackey benefit out of it. So definitely like to play. And now PNC is just going to have value like crazy. 2 Evil Totems trucking through. Lackeys for days, weeks even, months.
Years. Decades. Centuries. Millennia. Ad infinitum. Times goodness.
I wonder what this
Big
does.
wide boards. You know, it would be pretty solid
What?
if Race had early game board presence of some kind.
True.
That being said, he does have Crystal Merchant, so both players are kind of getting the keys to ramping up their quest. Evil Totem feels very similar to Crystal Merchant for the Quest Shaman.
This might be a deviation from the quest.
Yes.
I don't know.
I think one of the traps that people fall into is, well, Shaman already got a couple totems. Whatever. Or it's not totems. Well, they do get a couple totems. Shaman got a couple of lackeys. Whatever, I can't stop it. You need to stop it.
Yes.
It's time to stop. You do not let him get more lackeys because then you will 100% lose the game, in my opinion. Because once they finish the quest, they will burst you nonstop and get like so much value off of 2 cards. They can use 2 lackeys a turn and hero power, and you have to starfall it.
Yes.
It's like, it's that silly. You cannot let this go on. That being said, Reyes does not have a way to finish the quest reasonably by the time he wants to get to his usual turns. So I totally understand if he wants to pass this and just play Microchip Tech instead. Oh!
literally the worst.
Well, that's no way to talk to the Titanic Lackey. He's trying his best.
He sucks. Get out of here, Titanic Lackey.
No one wants Titanic Lackey. The person that gets it off of the Lackey generator, the person that steals it. Titanic Lackey, to me IRL.